So this is my little Toro weed whacker that I got from Home Depot. It's about 4 years old, and I've never done any maintenance to it, so it dawned on me I should do the basic maintenance. This video is just for basic maintenance stuff that's right in the manual that you can get for your weed whacker online as well. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the air filter. So what you want to do is just make sure it's turned off and turn off the power switch over here, and then remove the spark plug boot so there's no spark. Then most of them just have the simple knob you've turned. I've already loosened it. Pull the cover off. There's your air filter. Gets a little dirty and dusty. All you do, get rid of some of the debris on it. Wash it in some soapy warm water. And then you dry it out thoroughly and apply a little oil to it. Okay, after I did the soapy water, I rinsed it with clean water, then just dried it out, put it in the sun for a little while after squeezing it out. Now, just apply a couple drops of oil to it, and you don't want to use motor oil, it's really too thick, so this is like 3-in-1, a lightweight oil. Just put a couple drops on it, and then work it through. Maybe a little more. Basically what the oil does is catch a little bit more of the dust particles. If I put too much, I'll just squeeze it out into the paper towel. Then, once you got that oiled, but not too heavily, just put it back the way it came out. It only goes in one way. There. Pop that on, screw it down, that's the air filter. Okay, the air filter is recommended to be cleaned or replaced every 5 hours of use. Then the next item is the spark plug, which is yearly or every 25 hours of use. Turn it off. Pull off the spark plug boot. You'll need a spark plug wrench. If you don't have them, they're very inexpensive. This is a little one I picked up at the home store just to be sure I had one. Put the crank in and take it out. It's pretty dirty, it's not too bad, but might as well put a new one in while we're doing this. So it's important to get an exact match. Here's a new one. Hand thread it. If you cross thread this, you're going to mess it up. Mess up your machine. Start it by hand. Shooting with one hand here. So anyway, a lot of variations in the spark plug. Make sure you get the right one. Owner's manual will tell you exactly what to get. Tighten it down. Put the boot back on, and you're all done with the spark plug. Next up, we're going to look at the fuel filter and how to replace it. So we got the gas cap here. On top of the gas cap, there's a little breather hole, and so make sure that's not clogged, because if it is, then the gas will have a hard time going into the engine. This one looks pretty good, and they cleaned it out. They say it's non-serviceable, so you have to pick up a new one if it's really bad. Probably just clean it up a little bit of work. Inside here, there are fuel lines that pick up the fuel, and if you can't get them with your finger, then people make little hooks with a coat hanger piece of wire. Just be able to grab it. This one I can actually grab. And that's the fuel filter on the end there. See if we can get a good shot of it. So, this one looks okay. I wasn't able to find one in the store, so I'm deciding to pass on this for right now, but it's really easy to pop this off. There's a little clamp at the bottom you just squeeze together right here. The needle nose pliers, put on the new one, and then make sure it's not kinked, and make sure that it's in the bottom of the tank. Pop it back in, put on the cap, and that's all there is to changing the gas filter. Alright, the next thing is the spark arrestor, which basically, if it's clogged or has a lot of carbon on it, it'll constrict the flow of air through the muffler and won't make your engine run well. So this is, they say also every 25 hours or yearly. I've already detached most of these just to make it easier for the video. Basically, you just take off this housing in the back. There's a couple different sizes of tips I need. There's star type screw heads. Okay. I left out about 5 other ones. Now, this is the muffler. This is the spark arrestor screen on this one. And with a pair of pliers, sorry about the wiggling, you can just pull this baby off. There it is. Okay, so what does it look like? It is a screen that should be clean. This one's got quite a bit of carbon on it. So what you can do is clean it off with a brass wire brush or replace it. I found that you can't find them in the dealership that I bought these, so it's probably an online piece. Anyway, so I'll clean it up a little bit with a wire brush and some soap and water, see how that does. If that doesn't work, maybe some gasoline. Okay, so I cleaned the spark arrestor up a bit. It actually wasn't as bad as it looked. You can see it's not clogged up or anything. So I'm just going to reuse this one after I cleaned it up a little bit with a brass wire brush. Brass doesn't produce sparks on metal, so it's good to use when you're around gas and stuff. And we'll just pop it back in place and then put the cover back on. Alright, I put it back in place. I should mention a lot of them are different, where you have to take apart the muffler and there's a screen inside to get at. But your manual will probably show you how to do it. It's not that hard. This one's more accessible. Just putting the cover back on. Be careful not to over tighten them. And do all the screws, and that's that. On some weed whackers, they have a high and low carburetor adjustment. This one doesn't have that at all. All it has is a idling adjustment. There's a lot of good articles online about that if you need to tune your carburetor or to clean it out. A lot of good videos online. So the next thing, I should have mentioned too, if you've got debris in your gas tank, check it out. Just swirl around some gas in there and then dump it out to clean it out. Alright, most weed whackers are two-stroke engines. That means that you can't just put regular gas in it. You have to mix it with special 2-cycle oil. So anyway, usually the deal is it's one of these little containers to a gallon, which is what this is, of gasoline. Now the problem is, if you don't use your gas in about 30 days, it starts to go bad on you. So what you do, I was first thinking, well, I'm just going to mix up enough for this batch, but I think it's easier just to use the whole container rather than try to figure out exactly how much I need for a month. So what you can get to extend the life of your gas, since it only lasts about 30 days, whether it's for a weed whacker mixed as 2-stroke oil or a 2-stroke mix, or for your regular mower, is some of this gas treatment, which is gas stabilizer, and that'll extend the life. So I am going to make the full gallon. And so simply, I'm going to put this in to here, fill it up with gas, and this is my big supply for all sorts of stuff, and I've already put the gas stabilizer in there. So the weed whacker fuel is going to last a good long time. Okay, so I put the new gas in, and it fired right up, and it's running better than ever.